Sean here from Srkcycles. Let's do a wheelie video. Wheelies are not a thing that you learn how to do when you first start riding bikes. You have to be very comfortable with riding bikes, and you have to want to be like, you have to get to that point where you're like, all right, I think I could feel comfortable with one wheel up off the ground and having a much less control over the bike. Don't force it. If you don't feel comfortable riding a bike and you don't feel that, you don't have that need, you're like, yeah, I wanna get that front end up.
Don't do it.
It's not worth it, you know? But at some point in time, you will get to a point where you're like, yeah, I want to do that. And there's some people that never get to that point. They never feel like they want to have the front end up. But if you're at that point, you feel comfortable about doing it. 3 basic types of wheelies. Let me shift. You got, it's one of the power wheelies. So and it happens more likely on a leader bike, sometimes on 600s at the top end of first gear, where you're riding, you're full throttle, and at your maximum power band, that front end starts to come up a little bit. It normally doesn't come up very high, and then whenever you shift, it comes back down, and maybe it'll come back up in second at the end of the top, at the end of the gear. And you don't get very high, so it's not very impressive. It's kind of cool. Maybe if you got a picture of it or something like that. But that's one of them. The other one is a power wheelie where you take your bike to the power band. On a 600, it's gonna be somewhere around like 8,000 RPMs. On a leader bike, it's gonna be a little bit lower, maybe closer to 4 to 5. And then you let off the gas, and then you crack the throttle again, and to pop the front end up. And that looks kind of like this. So there's a power wheelie. Now the other type, and especially if you're riding a 600, see, I can get a power wheelie up on my leader bike at like 4,000 RPMs, or 4,000 or 5,000 RPMs. On a 600, you got to be at 8,000 RPMs. At that point in time, you're already going like 40 miles an hour. So you never get a chance to do a wheelie to impress anybody leaving something. You know, let's say you're at a party and you pull out of the driveway and all your friends are sitting up there. You want to pop the wheelie right here and ride it in front of them. You don't want to like go flying and then pop a wheelie a mile down the road. No one saw it. Who are we kidding? That's why you ride. That's why you do wheelies, to impress people. That's why we ride motorcycles. So the other type of wheelie is a clutch wheelie. And it's definitely a little bit more difficult. You really have to find that sweet spot, find that finesse. But it allows you to pop the front end up in maybe second or third gear, most likely second. And to pop the front end up in first gear, going much slower than you normally would be going. So on a sport bike, you could be going, you know, 5 miles an hour and just go pop it up. Once I get there's some people behind me, I'll turn around and I'll show you some examples of clutch wheelies. And if you're looking for a place to practice this stuff, don't do it around people. Go away from people. Go away from cars, go away from stuff. And your goal is, when you're first trying to learn how to do it, is you don't want to over rev it. Because if you over rev it and you let the RPMs go up too high, and then you dump the clutch. Okay, so what's happening is you're gonna, if you guys can see me, you're gonna be riding, keep a consistent throttle, and then go like this. So you're gonna let the bike rev up with the clutch in, and then you're gonna dump the clutch. So here's a. All right, so you're riding. You're at a consistent. See, we're going like 20 miles an hour. You're at a consistent throttle. You're just gonna go like this. And then just do a couple. Get the front end up a little bit. You know what I mean? Nothing crazy. Just get it up, kind of get used to it.